I mean, GPT stands for Generative Programmatic Transformer, right? So the programmatic bit, it relies on the data being good and us teaching it. If we give it no data, we don't teach it anything, it's just a child.
Today, I have the pleasure to welcome in the studio Georges Ralph, who is the Global MD and CRO of RFA, a cybersecurity and tech company. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's very logical. Just before the holidays, we were all caught on the internet watching our system in Luxembourg shut down. I mean, if you had a heart attack on that dark day, you could not reach any emergency service. So I decided to invite you. And first, I would like to know, what is your analysis on what happened in Luxembourg this summer?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all down to concentration risk and not having enough resilience of systems. There's a few rumours around, but like we were talking about earlier, potentially it was one device, which is slightly scary. The service provider has an outage from one device.
We heard that. First it was maybe a hack, and then it was maybe a piece of hardware that failed, and yeah, it's kind of scary.
Either is scary, right? Because it means they didn't have the resilience in place to protect themselves against that proactively. I think for us, we had a lot of clients that were impacted on their mobile phones. So they were in the offices, they were still going because we used other service providers for their internet, luckily, for backup lines. But then when they went home in the evenings or in the mornings on the way to work, they didn't have access to their mobile phones. Or they had the horrible emergency alert tone that came through.
You say lack of resilience?
I think there's also, you know, the infrastructure in Luxembourg, it's quite limited in terms of the providers around connectivity. And so the opportunities to have multiple providers into one internet line, for example, is quite limited here. You've really got to think about it. I think also in terms of the infrastructure itself, there's still a lot of components that are not fully cloud-based. You know, a lot of our clients were unimpacted because they're fully in Microsoft Azure or they're fully in Amazon Web Services. There's no hardware components at all. The only hardware is the laptop they're using or the mobile phone to get access to the data. And so that in itself removes the restriction of physical hardware risk, which it could have been, or it could have been a hack.
Yeah, there are many ways to be attacked today. We saw you mentioning, of course, the concentration of, I guess, of Post. It's a state player who is extremely powerful on the scale of Luxembourg. We also know Proximus is a very, very strategic player here. And even on security, we have Lux Trust, who was attacked by DDoS attacks at the beginning of the year. And then again, nobody can make any payment in the whole country. So how do you see those things evolving? Do you think there should be more partnership with international players, or how do you see things going?
So we are in 14 countries now. Obviously our headquarters for Europe is Luxembourg, which is why I'm here as often as possible, looking after our clients and trying to get new ones. Our focus really is to grow our footprint in Luxembourg and help advise people on this resilience process. Later on today, I'm doing a talk on AI governance and security risk, which I'll talk about in a sec. I'm really trying to work with other service providers for collaboration and partnerships, trying to work with the big fund administrators, the mancos, people who have got multiple clients on their platforms to make sure that the impact risk of any breaches are minimized. I'd like to collaborate more with the other technology firms. If we can help advise them on resilience, I think that'll help the country more. And then use Luxembourg as a footprint to go out to other European countries and say, look, this is what we're doing in Luxembourg, let us help you get better as well. So really focusing on collaboration and partnerships, and helping the service providers to the country get better in what they're doing as an advisor.
And when you're telling me this, it's a little bit weird. I don't know if you follow my LinkedIn post, but we do have some big players. I mean, you go to New York every month, you go all over the world. I think you just got two extremely prominent AI specialists in your board recently. I mean, things are going so fast. I have an example in mind. We have G-Core in Luxembourg. It's a Luxembourgish company based here who is going from victory to victory on the data center world. Nobody really knows about them. And then, of course, you're like, what is Luxembourg missing out on? So what you're asking for maybe is that we bring all Luxembourgish players around the table, and when I say Luxembourgish, I mean Luxembourgish firms.
Yes, definitely. So going back to your AI board member point, so we recently got acquired and partnered with a firm called Titan. And that was founded by two heads of product with Snapchat, Scale AI, etc. So we're getting quite heavily involved in AI to build case studies for our clients to help them use agentic AI, sort of day-to-day tasks, invoice management, things like that. And really focusing on services industries, fund administrators, managed service providers, managed security service providers, people like us, law firms, etc. And trying to work out how we can use agentic AI to improve the services industry in Luxembourg and the rest of the world. So they've recently joined on the board, which is exciting. And so we have also a lot of tools that are helping people understand the risks of AI and how it should be governed. We're all trying to teach AI, if you're testing it, as quickly as possible so it can help us as quickly as possible. But the risk is that hackers get in and give it fake prompts. So it's prompt injections to actually get the code and the agentic bots to do malicious activity for you. Then who do you sue? You can't sue an agentic bot, it doesn't exist.
Yes.
So there's a lot of risks around people getting into AI too fast without understanding the risks. Not securing the agents that they're using, so people can put in fake prompts when they're not online or watching. So we're governing that AI piece for people at the moment. We're telling firms what people are searching for in their organization, what tools they're using in AI. We can block document uploads. We can tell them if document uploads have been uploaded in the past. We can link it to financial data privacy acts. We can link it to things like DORA and reporting and vulnerabilities of vendors. So it takes a sort of a governance and policy procedure for AI. Everyone needs to have an AI policy by now. And it puts that into a technical format to either block or allow or restrict, but it's audited. So we're trying to get ahead of that, because at the moment regulators in the finance world get you to record your WhatsApps, record email, record telephone calls. So we're now recording AI. So we're trying to get ahead of that at the moment.
Exactly. Yeah, so if I follow you properly, it's like AI is bringing all the cybersecurity concerns on steroids. What was dangerous 3 years ago is becoming much more dangerous, because a simple prompt can unleash a lot of possible attacks. But at the same time, AI is a fabulous opportunity for fund managers, for financial professionals to boost their productiveness, their attractiveness too. So it's a double-edged technology, basically.
Yeah. I mean, a good example is we have a small long-short equity hedge fund here. And they have a research analyst whose job every 3 weeks is to take the updated spreadsheet of trades and update their reconciliation spreadsheet, which takes him about 4 days.
Yes.
We now do that in 5 seconds. It's just update.
I think it's less than 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's immediate. But now he's training the bot to do other things for them. So he's learning technology. He's learning how to do AI prompting, how to train it. But when I said to him, by the way, you went to make me a coffee, you left your screen open, I could have just given it prompts to then send me all your code before you come back. It's the same way as any other application. You've got to keep control of that, because if your agentic bot starts doing malicious things, it's not a bad lever. There's no HR manual for your bot. You've got to keep a focused eye on that and watch what it's doing and train it to be as efficient as possible.
Yeah, that's true. And we're getting now to this Gen AI and as you say, the AI prompting itself. It's developing extremely fast, and for all those things, of course, there's a lot of opportunities and a lot of risks. So maybe let's start with the opportunities. How do you see Luxembourg and RFA leveraging the power of proper cybersecurity and great AI?
Okay, so there's 3 things to say here. The first is I want to give you a funny story about how I learnt about using research bots. So my girlfriend's father was trying to find a dog to mate with his deer-headed chihuahua.
Okay.
And I thought this was hilarious, that he was willing to pay £15,000 for a headhunter of dogs to come to find a dog of a specific breed and background.
Because I guess you can sell then the babies for a fortune.
Exactly. And I said, no, it's ridiculous. 15. I'll do it for 14,000.
Okay.
How long do I have? 3.5 months. Okay.
And so you went.
So I went and I used a tool called Manus, and I did research. It's a research bot, and I said, I'm trying to find a deer-headed Chihuahua within 300 miles of this postcode. Ask me any questions. I'll spend up to £500 for it to mate with my dog. And within 2 minutes, I had 3 dogs. And it was the same 3 dogs that the guy had found on the 15,000.
Yes.
So that got me into it because I'm thinking, wow, there's so many things I could do with this tool. So Manus is my sort of go-to tool at the moment. I've been training it to learn about me. And it can help me with things like working out strategic changes. It can help me if, you know, I have 2 members of staff with the same job role, but I want to promote one and not the other. It gives me suggestions about either maybe changing job title or giving training to the other one to gamify the job roles to see if actually it should be promoted over the other. It's a very powerful tool. And you can, at the end, when you get information, so I did it to tell me the top 1,000 hedge funds in the world, the top 1,000 private equity firms in the world, and then create an interactive website that I could use internally for my sales team. That also tells me who the person is at that firm and what they're looking at on social media to show me their interests in tech, which is all about AI and governance of AI, to be fair. And I know a lot of those people out of that list already, but it's so good at speeding up that research process.
Of course, of course.
And I think for Luxembourg, there's a huge opportunity there of using that to fill in any gaps around skill sets within businesses when they're taking time to recruit the right person for jobs. I think there's a massive opportunity to help us with our operational strategies at RFA and within Luxembourg to do more around monitoring of vendors, right? Risk management processes. I think Article 41 of the Data Protection Act here, it's very much about where's your data lying, who are the vendors, where's your data that the vendors are looking after stored. So you can actually use AI to track where your data's moving as well for you and send you reports every day. Your data's now here, my data's here, I'm secured here with your license for that. So there's lots of opportunities there which will allow us as a country to really focus on performance and growth as humans and that interaction.
Yeah, I think there's a bias in Luxembourg, which is because it's such a back office, a little bit middle office jurisdiction, people are petrified that AI will kill jobs. What they don't understand is that AI only works for good data owners. And Luxembourg is a massive data owner who could literally make magic with AI in extracting meaning for end investors in America or all over the world.
Yeah, I mean, GPT stands for Generative Programmatic Transformer, right? So the programmatic bit, it relies on the data being good and us teaching it. If we give it no data, we don't teach it anything, it's just a child.
Exactly.
That wants to please you. If you say, what's your source of the information that you just gave me the answer to, it will just give you a fake link because it wants to please you like a child. So
we've seen this, yes.
Your training of agentic AI and agentic bots and generative AI is basically aging the bot. You're helping it through childhood.
Maturing it.
Yes, great. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Let's finish with the risks. What if we don't act on those things? If we stay very traditional, as we started the interview, with very old ways of approaching cybersecurity with cables in hardware? It's part of it, but it's not the only part of it. What are the risks?
Well, before I talk about the risks, the opportunity is exactly what you mentioned earlier with the data centers. So I went to do some tours last time I was here 2 weeks ago with some of the newer data center providers here that are hidden underneath some of the buildings in town. And they are building AI-based data centers.
Wow.
I was very, very surprised, which is why I did the tours. So there's huge power going into the city here in Luxembourg to build AI-based data centers to make sure that we can use AI as much as possible as a country, which is very exciting.
It is.
The risk is that people test AI and they don't use it in a knowledged way, right? And it's not governed like our tool that I was talking about. And people feel like there's a sort of a FOMO effect. They feel like they should be early adopters of technology to get ahead.
Fear of missing out.
Yes, fear of missing out. the problem with being an early adopter of technology like AI is that you don't know what the risks are yet because no one else does. So not connecting it to your data is very important, right? Unless you have a governance framework in place.
True.
Not uploading things like presentations and saying, can you make it look nicer? That's a massive risk.
Because you got all the disclosure.
Yeah, exactly. A good test of that is to just say what Luxembourg companies have uploaded their pitch decks in the last 3 months to ChatGPT.
No.
I mean, it's the internet.
I will try that today.
I think the other thing is people really need to start thinking more about using cloud technology. You know, traditional but not traditional. Cloud is still not traditional really. And trying to get rid of as much hardware as possible. Hardware is still the risk.
Okay.
Because you're doubling up or tripling up on equipment because you think you've got resilience. But actually, the cloud platforms, let's pick on Microsoft, they've got Office 365. Office 365 comes with Copilot, right? The Copilot is your AI, it's limited to your tenant. Okay, so it's secure-ish out of the box. You still need governance. Then you have SharePoint within Office 365. That immediately complies with DORA, it complies with GDPR, it's done, it's out of the box. Okay, and then you've got Microsoft Outlook, which is, it's Microsoft Exchange. You're not going to have your email with anyone else, really. Maybe Google, but unless you're a VC firm. And those components there immediately gives you what you need to have a good business practice of security and resilience. You're also meeting regulatory compliance requirements, right? If you've got a physical server, which a lot of firms in Luxembourg still have because I do audits on them, to have the same impact like SharePoint, you're going to have another server here, then another one somewhere else for your backups. You're going to have a version control layer on top of software, right? It could be Varonis or something like that. The cost of that per month is like triple Office 365 in itself.
And you'll need to upgrade all the time
Constant.
each component to remain compliant or at least efficient.
Correct. And then you need switches, and then you need firewalls, and then you need someone to maintain it, as you rightly say. Then you need to do penetration tests every 3 months. So the cost spirals by having a physical piece of tin in your office. So if you move to cloud sooner, it gives you all the features and functionality that you need. Microsoft spend billions every year on research to give these tools to the people that pay for their licenses. So I still see that Luxembourg is behind in that respect. And I want to try and advise people and give them what I see internationally from our 14 locations, what people have done to move to cloud already. You know, some firms in London, for example, I'm moving them to cloud in 2014. NEC, which is not the electricity company, but the company that does events, I moved them in 2014. They were the first technology firm that moved to Office 365. 6,500 mailboxes I had to move. And that was a nightmare. Because no one was used to having web-based email. It was only personal email that was web-based. But now they're sort of way ahead. They had 3 years of free licensing from Microsoft as an incentive. But if we can move people into cloud, it gives you all the features and functionality you need to be secure and regulated and resilient. And I'm keen to give examples of what we've done globally to people in Luxembourg to help them see the pros and cons and help advise them on the right path to cloud.
Yeah, so it's going to be all about creating this mutually beneficial partnership between an international company, which your European headquarters is in Luxembourg, and local players who are just like every company. They want to be efficient, they want to be properly protected, and they want to be focusing on their core business. So thank you very much, George, and I wish you a lot of growth in the coming month.
Thank you.
Thank you.